Voice acting? In a Pokemon game? Yes, I know, Detective Pikachu Returns is far from the first series spin-off to include such a luxury, but the mainline franchise's refusal to follow suit means it still always catches me off guard. In the case of this sequel to the 2016 Nintendo 3DS original, however, it's essential, not least because aspects such as story, characters, and intrigue play a significant part in the adventure. And even if not much has been done to evolve Detective Pikachu's formula in the 7 years between the first game and this sequel to shake that baby's first mystery novel feeling, there's still plenty of charm to be found. Detective Pikachu Returns picks up several months after the titular Pokemon and his partner Tim's last adventure. The R-Virus no longer continues to plague innocent Pokemon, Rhyme City's inhabitants live in relative safety, and the deducting duo has since established a famous reputation for solving local crimes. Much as before, it's the pair's excellent chemistry and general camaraderie that is always at the core of propelling what is otherwise a wafer-thin narrative. Except now, both characters are comfortable with one another, playing to each other's strengths to see Tim question human suspects while Pikachu has the Pokemon side covered. As an insight to the lives outside of battling, Detective Pikachu Returns remains a success for anyone wanting to know how their favourite Pokemon would act and function in the everyday world. Raboot, for instance, is more than happy to enjoy a kickabout in the park, whereas a Pokemon like Poliwrath has a penchant for sparring against other heavyset Pokemon in its weight class. Rhyme City and its surrounding areas are packed with smaller stories like this worth digging into for those willing to look, easily done by speaking to individuals and engaging in optional side mysteries that sit outside of the main adventure. Speaking of which, the story in Detective Pikachu Returns is most definitely a sequel that pays respect to the first game's events, and even the Hollywood movie adaptation starring Ryan Reynolds in a cool wink to the camera moment, but knowledge of it isn't essential. The original Detective Pikachu released on the Nintendo 3DS in the West a full year after the Nintendo Switch released after all, and developer Creatures recognizes that not everyone would have played it, and so smartly embeds a previously on type primer as well as several explicit references to past events throughout. The plot here has plenty of twists and turns as any good mystery should, but the nature of Detective Pikachu Returns being a family game first meant that I spotted many of them from a mile off, a fact that isn't helped by the main plot feeling very similar to its predecessor, by again focusing on Pokemon behaving strangely and the search for Tim's dad and Detective Pikachu's former partner, Harry. Thankfully though, the latter is at least better addressed now as opposed to being left as a dangling plot thread like the last time. In terms of gameplay, it's pleasing to see that the move from 3DS to the Nintendo Switch hasn't ended up cluttering the screen. All you need to do now to deduce clues you've gathered, access your casebook and reread previous conversations you've had is just tap a button. And it's when deep into deciphering the game's 5 main mysteries in this way that Detective Pikachu Returns is at its best. Sadly though, the correct clues and plot threads to select are always so obvious, it's almost impossible not to crack the case perfectly when the time comes to do it. And then, in the rare event that you actually do manage to slip up, there's no punishment by way of a final score or even a rating. All this is to say that Detective Pikachu Returns still lacks the sleuthing complexity of other mystery-based adventure games and visual novels like, say, Phoenix Wright or even Danganronpa. It's for this main reason that no matter the mystery at hand, of which there's a decent variety present, I always felt like I was just playing the role of detective rather than actually being one. As was very much the case last time, this is yet again an extremely linear mystery game with a predefined conclusion, rather than one that implores you to follow multiple routes or even change the outcome. A rather cool feature, and the sequel's big new addition this time around, comes in the form of what's called Story Jump mode. It's here where players can in effect skip through to different parts of the narrative, similar to how you could when flicking through the pages of a novel. I never felt inspired to do this myself for fear of spoiling the main arc. That said, if you're someone who wants to see the final mystery revealed and have fun by seeing how Tim and Pikachu reach that point by playing chapters retrospectively, the option is very much there. From finding out which member of a mansion staff stole a lost precious jewel to tracking down a missing professor, Detective Pikachu Returns isn't short on ways to uniquely integrate the Pokemon themselves into each case, even if most tend to rely a bit too much on them lacking their memory. However, as far as sequels go, this is about as straightforward and solid as fans of the original could ask for. Though light on genuine surprises and peppered with deduction systems that are a tad basic, hanging out with Tim and the coffee-loving Detective Pikachu continues to be a joy, and a perfect excuse to delve into the wider world of Pokemon. We here at Mirror Gaming give Detective Pikachu Returns a 3 out of 5. So there you have it guys, in terms of our full review for Detective Pikachu Returns on Nintendo Switch. What do you think? Do you plan on picking this game up? Be sure to let me know in the comments section below. And then when you've done that, if you've enjoyed this video and you want to see more, be sure to subscribe to the Mirror Gaming YouTube channel to enjoy more videos like this, and don't forget to smash that like button. Until next time guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.